defeated by Turbo Tech, which is going to shoot 218 if Queen can go ahead and fill this up. So that's going to be a split over there for Turbo Tech and Joe Hu.
Still close here on 17 and 18 between Barris and IB.
Here's Queen's shot. And we'll take you over to that pair now.
Shea up in the 10th. Strike working there. One more, he can shut out Barris.
And anchoring for Barris's team is Chad Kloss.
Correct.
I really struggle with this team. I don't know these guys very well, but they're so talented, and I wish I knew more about them. Another 9 for Kloss. I've seen him do that a couple of times today. So InsideBowling.com is going to avoid the sweep. And an opportunity there they did not seize. Team Barris had a chance to get 100 bonus spins if they could go 2-0 against InsideBowling.com. But InsideBowling.com comes back after shooting a 180 game. He's going to shoot 2-teen here with the change with Miller to Bittenbender in the 5-hole. And all teams are going to shuffle around now for our 5th set of matches. Games 9 and 10 coming up. We'll have results through Game 8 here in just a moment. Going across the top of your screen here at the Mary Teubner Memorial Team Challenge, live from Springfield, Illinois, on InsideBowling.com. It's a great opportunity to tell you about a couple of events we got coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to be in Dubuque, Iowa for the 11thframe.com Open. $4,000 first place. Demanding pattern. Singles tournament, A, B, and C squads. You can re-enter. All information is available on the homepage at InsideBowling.com. You can pay and sign up for the tournament in the IB store just at the top of the page on the nav bar. Also, we just announced this week, look it up on Facebook, the 5-spot team event. We're having our own team event at Tropicana Lanes in St. Louis, Missouri. It's only $100 a person, hence the 5-spot name. And if a team were to bowl the same score in qualifying, the whole team every game, and it's over 200, we got a $1,000 sponsor. You'll win a $1,000 bonus. Kind of a fun little thing. And we'll have plenty of brackets in that, and it will be all money that are collected from the funds in both events are going to go directly into the prize fund. We charge no expenses, and we cover the lineage for you. So come out and bowl our events. We'd love to see you there. Get a bunch of teams in St. Louis and a bunch of people coming out and bowling in Dubuque. That's a beautiful facility. Bob Hochgren, the general manager there at Cherry Lanes inside the Diamond Joe Casino. It's a great, great venue, and we can't wait to take to the lanes there in Dubuque, Iowa. We got some action underway, Doug, over here already. 19
yeah, we do.
and 20.
Mike Wolf hopped up there and went high. Left the 3-6-10. Solid 9 Pro Shops back on their nemesis here of 15 and 16. They're going to face the Kloss, Moss, and Barris crew. Sounds like a law firm.
The law firm of Kloss, Moss, and Barris.
Yeah. We're just going to call them the law firm from now on.
That's a good one. I like that.
There's a Pittsburgh Steeler that has that nickname already, so I don't want to say that I just made that up. It's who is that?
I don't know. I'm so out of the loop with professional sports. I'm too busy with all this crap all the time anymore.
Okay.
I really am. I cannot keep up with it. Like, I want to know what's been going on in the Olympics the last couple of days, and I have no clue what's been going on. So look at Tim Barrett. We haven't talked about him much. He's from our neck of the woods. He's actually leading the Peterson right now at 16-27. I have the pleasure of bowling on the squad with Tim. I also get to bowl the Ozark tournament as a companion team with Tim. Tim's very, very talented, and this weekend bowling with these stars, he's been overshadowed by names like Derek Oaf, Tommy Jones, Jesse Buss. So Tim struggled a little bit yesterday, but Tim is a fierce competitor and a great shot maker. He sticks his shots as good as anybody, and Tim loves Baker competition, and we'll keep an eye on Tim here. Derek Oaf also haven't talked about a lot, but most people know who he is. It's a household name by now, and Oaf has just got a tremendous role in tilt. He's a Storm staffer, which Storm and Rotogrip are the great sponsors of this event, title sponsors. And Derek Oaf has bowled 5 regional events and has finished second in every single one of them. That's an unbelievable start to the young man's professional career. And we're going to see great things from Derek Oaf. He worked for the USBC, and his wife got a job at the University of Wisconsin, so they moved up to Wisconsin, and Oaf was looking for some jobs and said, you know what, this job market's not the best right now. I'm going to go out and bowl for a while and see what happens. And so far, he's been able to pay the bills with how great he's been able to throw the ball. And I assume he's going to the World Series of Bowling, and I predict he'll at least make one show. And there's Tommy Jones. We all know Tommy Jones, Team USA, PBA Player of the Year. He continues to bowl in the 4-hole. I would imagine if he gets lined up, they'll eventually move him to the 5-hole. But because both of these patterns that we've bowled on this weekend have hooked so much, Tommy electing to not bowl 5th, he knows that that with all the friction, that it's not necessarily 100% the best thing for him to strike as much as some of the others on his team. Goes to show what kind of character and teammate he is. Jeff Carter leaves a 5-7. It's probably been a while since you've seen him leave one of those, but he's done it. Probably in this house. It's probably his second one he's ever left ever.
If Bo Burton was covering this, they'd show a graphic right now, and he'd be telling him to move 5 boards left with his feet, 3 more boards with his target, and that blue hammer would show up on the pin deck and knock that 5 right over into the 7.
I just posted on InsideBowling.com's Facebook page, which if you're not a friend or a fan of the actual like page, go out there and check it out. We appreciate all friend requests. We'll take them. Great way for us to promote and tell you what's going on with our live stream broadcast. And posted an event from 1986 at North Oaks Bowl in St. Louis where Norm Duke bowled against Pete Weber, and Norm picked the 5-7. And there's Jeff Carter right there, picks the 5-7. And everybody's giving him 5 because it was the 5 and the 7. As he grabs Tommy Jones by the bald head and rubs it a little bit. They're having a discussion about it right now. Is that Peters right there? Was that Peters with the strike? Mike Peters?
For TurboTech?
Yeah.
I think so.
I know our fans in the chat will help us out. They'll be able to let us know. I believe that's Mike Peters. I'm pretty sure. Danny Wiseman stopping by the booth.
See you later.
Taking off, sir?
Yeah.
All right, well, good seeing you.
Good seeing you. Take care. Good job,
Good trip.
guys.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll do another interview soon.
Yeah, we will. We will. So, yeah, keep an eye on what we got going on. We'll keep an eye on you.
Okay, sounds good, man.
And enjoy that race at Dover.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year. Yeah.
Fun. Take care.
All right.
Thanks. You know, that's one of the things I really like, Doug, is Danny Wiseman comes by to just say goodbye to us. I'm always a firm believer in saying goodbye when you leave. You know, just let everybody know that you're leaving. And for Danny to come over here and say great job this weekend and see you on the flip side is really nice of him to do.
Mike Peters or Scott Rains?
Yeah, it's
Who are we looking for?
Mike Peters.
Yeah.
Got it. Sean Wachner's a big Mike Peters fan and is following along watching his TurboTech team, and he let us know that it was as well.
Timmy B, a big strike in 18. They started 4-bagger, 9-spare, double. Derek's up in the 7th.
Here's Kistner over here. I thought it was a momentum chance here. We got spare 4-bagger, and Kistner leading off for them now. Every time he strikes, there's a big eruption because he hasn't been striking a lot. So I wanted to cut over this camera, and he leaves a baby split, lets me down a little bit. So we'll flip back over. I was thinking I could catch something there. Yeah, Oaf's team's working on 279. Derek looking for a triple. Creeps up high. They've got cruise control in this match right now, though. Murphy begging for a strike over there. Standings after 8, Solid 9 Pro Shop sits up top. 260 pin lead over Team Wolf. Just 30 pins behind Team Wolf is Team Barris. Then 215 or so behind Team Barris is Joe Hu. Followed by TurboTech, InsideBowling.com, TFJ, Team Shepherd, Turbo 2-1, and the Huge Midgets. Kind of a surprise to see the Turbo 2-1 team fall to 9th, considering what a great fine-oiled machine they are. And on the bonus side of things, Solid 9 has picked up 325 bonus pins. And the closest team to them is Joe Hu with 250. And the Huge Midgets have only won 2 games. They've only got 50 bonus pins, and Team Barris and TFJ 75 bonus pins apiece. So bonus pins coming into play. Top team's got 325. The low team has 50. That's a 275 pin deficit. As there's a lot of separation, but a lot can be made up in just a short time here. The team gets hot and sweeps 2 or 3 matches in a row. The next thing you know, they can make a big move.
On a side note, I have a correction from our conversation 5-10 minutes ago about the law firm. That was not a Pittsburgh Steeler, Mike. The reason I was telling you that is because it was a New England Patriot. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis was nicknamed the law firm last year by his teammates. I thought that was pretty neat. So,
okay, is that what you've been looking up over there?
Yeah. It was driving me nuts.
So yeah. Michael Fagan up in the 10th frame can shoot 237 for his team. Brett Shepard can go 233 over here on 19 and 20. So Shepard's got to match Fagan, and Fagan gets the first one. Start to see a little emotion out of Michael there.
He walked that out like a half a lane.
Well, Team Wolf has moved into second place.
Quietly.
With only 200 bonus pins. But they're 260 behind Pete Weber's team, so that's why they're trying to make some noise, trying to make a run. There's a big difference between first and second. Over $4,000. And Shepard failed to strike, so it is going to be Fagan's team over there is going to get the win and go for the sweep in game number 2 as they switch lanes. Bus is a little miscombobulated there. He shoots 222. And TurboTech can only shoot 213, so that's going to be a win for Bus's team. Switching over to the other bay here. Right here in front of us, Dave Barris' team can shoot 236. Solid 9 Pro Shop, Pete Weber, 233. So we'll stay here with you. As Kloss has ran over the rack for 9-pin, 9-pin, 9-pin.
Yes.
All day long, and now Light Tickler on 16. He's going to have to match him.
He's scrappy.
And Mike Shady, if he can fill up the 10th here on lane 14, will be 225. They're going to get the win over the huge midgets who just cannot get a game one. Huge midgets can shoot 209. So Turbo 201 getting it going again. Joe Who shoots 214 down there on the end. They're bowling against InsideBowling.com. InsideBowling.com only has 202 left, so that's going to be a win for Joe Who and a loss for InsideBowling.com. They have Brad Miller up in the 10th frame.
Ever since that 10th frame against Solid 9 Pro Shop, they've been kind of squeaky. Not clean, but squeaky as in the wheels are coming off a little bit.
Second shot here.
Same thing.
Well, so 226 max score now for Vera's team. Pete's got to have the hit, right?
He's got to have it.
PDW, running it out. So you got Michael Fagan down there getting a win, trying to get his team going, down on 19 and 20, 260 pins behind Weber's team. Gets the win. You saw a little emotion out of Fagan, and then Weber, I'm sure he saw that out of the corner of his eye. And now to throw the big double, you just saw the most emotion we've seen all weekend. As Solid 9 Pro Shop getting about halfway through this competition with a 260 pin lead, looking for a sweep here on 15 and 16 when they'll switch lanes and go to their nemesis, lane 16.
Right.
When you define anchor bowler in the dictionary, if they don't put a picture of Pete Weber there, I am going to write to Webster's and tell them they have just totally dissatisfied all of the readers.
C-pick.
These teams here shoot up with 5 guys. Yesterday bowled regular team games, and now today the 5 guys are back and bowling Baker.
I don't think any team had a 6-man, right?
No.
There was no subbing or anything. That was just a kind of a college bowling joke.
Kistner bowling leadoff gets 8 there on that 16. Boy, if this team could get the sweep here, Weber's is going to be rolling.
What game is this now?
Game number 10.
Game 10, so we are halfway done.
Doug, I'll be right back.
That's okay.
So Barras converts the 2-5 on 15. Solid 9 Pro Shop 8 spare up in the first. Double up for Solid 9 Pro Shop there. Now we get Anthony Lacaze up in the 4th. It's a 5-bagger there on 17-18 for Turbo Tech. They got 9 spare 5-bagger. Anthony Lacaze says no problem, boys. Who do you think you are? Strikes again. We got quite the match here developing on 17 and 18. Turbo Tech versus TFJ. TFJ's got a double, 8 spare, 3-bagger. Tim Barron up in the 7th. Wrap 10 for Timmy B. We got Turbo Tech on a 260 pace here. TFJ's on a 250 pace on 17 and 18 with Derek Goff up in the 8th. Goes high, leaves the 9.
Yeah, we'll move you over here. These matches are along a little bit further than our matches over on the left side. So it looks like we're going to have a split here on 17 and 18 as TurboTech has 269 left with Queen up. Well, not necessarily. Yeah, that's a big hit there. That's gonna it's gonna lock them in with a win. So it's gonna be a split there. Murphy up on 19 for Fagan's team. Looks like Brett Shepard's team just kept rolling along there. They've got 266 left. Brett's already got the first one in the 10th. Needs a double here, and it's Fagan's team was trying to get it going, wanted to get a sweep, and they're not going to get a sweep. Brett Shepard and his team are going to shoot 260 at him. So Weber and company down here looks like we'll move back down there because that's the developing story here is Pete Weber and his team, they smell the blood in the water yet again and do have a chance for 100 bonus pins. As Rick Coy covers the spare, they have 136 in the 6th with a spare up in the 7th. And Bear's team 107 in the 5th, strike up in the 6th. And their second bowler here is up in the 7th. Big strike there. Who's that young man, Doug?
I'm unfamiliar with the two younger guys. I just know the three amigos.
It's 269 for Queen's TurboTech team. Pretty impressive game there. Looks like Jesse Buss has moved to the 4th position. And it looks like Tommy Jones has moved to the 5th position like I thought might happen. Tommy could take him to 235. It's 252 for Shepard and his crew, and Fagan's up over on 19 with just 208 left. And he runs over the rack for a 9-pin down there as you're watching the most exciting match here where Tony Lacaze is going to step up. He's got 246 left. Bear's team 257 left. 9th frame, both teams. '16 has been a tough lane.
Yes, it has.
We've talked about it all weekend.
I think off his hand there, he thought that might hold and not be, too bad, but just a lot of friction down lane. And
So Barris, his team, if they could have gotten a strike there, would have had a commanding lead. But instead, Tony Lacaze can cover this. Oh, which he almost does.
left half a loaf there. Made a good effort on the split.
They've only got 214 left now. Barris' team going at a 220 pace. So anything can happen, though. Tommy Jones is really getting it going on now. He's doubled in the 10th. He was perfect in the 5th. He's lined up. I would look for him to be almost perfect here for the next couple of games as he's really getting lined up. Here's Pete. He's probably going to show some emotion if he gets the second one. Here's the first attempt. Another strike.
He's going to make them work for it.
If this was a TV broadcast, he'd be saying, you got to make them show up. You got to make them show up. You got to make, you know how he says it.
Right.
You see Tommy Jones' ball reaction there. It's pretty sick right now. He's probably got the best look in the building. Now here's Kloss. Gets the first hit. So that's going to give him the victory because that gives him 215. The best he can get is 214. So Weber's emotion in the last game in the 10th frame saved him from having to give up 100 bonus pins, so to speak. But it's going to be a split here for Solid 9 Pro Shop. 13 and 14 looks like a split between the huge giants.
Midgets.
Something like that.
Giant midgets.
Yeah. And their team there bowling has moved away already. So competition is moving around, but looks like InsideBowling.com is going to get swept by Joe Hu.
Bush.
And Bittenbender's going to be in the 170s down there anchoring for his team. So InsideBowling.com struggling a little bit down there. And we'll begin game number 11 here momentarily as some of the teams have already moved. Mike Wolf is always up on the approach ready to go when they move to that new pair. And we'll take you to that right now.
These guys are in second, right? We're going to start the game. Is this game 11 here? 11, 12?
Game number 11.
Or is it 12, 13?
We're in a halfway point here. Chris Hester, I believe he's still throwing urethane.
Are you ready, Chris Hester?
He eyed it down. He kept saying, I'm not good enough to be bowling with these guys. I can't even believe I came out and bowl with these guys. But I think he held his own all evening and all day today, or all day yesterday. So don't let that guy trick you.
Corey Kistner's been struggling quite a bit, and Corey actually has now got himself something to eat. He's eating a cookie or something.
More Nutri-Grain bars.
He did get a strike here in this match, though, to start the match. And Derek Olf is up over on lane 20. He's got the first two already. Sure.
Stability socks are always in question and always available.
To the guy that shot 290 the hard way, we gave him a pair. Well, yeah, I guess that you're right.
It's easier than 9 spare 11 bagger, isn't it?
Certainly is.
You got to watch Flanagan and Mike Wolf. You're
right.
They jab a little bit.
Yeah.
And you got to. It just gets to the line of getting personal and probably heated, and then they both back off. I'm waiting for that day when Mike goes ahead and throws that extra blow, and see what Mike Wolf's going to do, because they've been, and I see that happening with Wriggles too. They had words this morning, first thing at 8:45, and as the fly on the wall here and on the IB team, I'm just waiting for it to all go down, and it's all out of love and respect and fun, but they like to throw their ticklers out there, as Flanagan likes to say.
Oh yeah, yes we do. It is pretty funny when it gets going, actually, because
Wriggles said, "You're gonna pay up on your bet last night," and Mike said, "You didn't book it." We said we'd have the night block started by 6, and Wriggles said, "No way." And Mike said, "I want 50 on the under. I'm involved. We can make it happen before 6."
And Wriggles never said anything.
So,
and then this morning, of course, because it started at 6:10, he was all over it. Where's my 50 bucks?
First balk of the tournament by Jesse James. On 15 and 16 there.
We'll park here, 17 and 18 for a little bit. King of swing, Mike Fagan.
And he's like twirling the lane with the red hammer, like 10 to the gutter.
You know, is it a fashion disaster to be wearing argyle and plaid?
I'd say so, but he's the king of swing, and he's the Argyle assassin. If you're going to call him anything, call him Michael, but if you're not going to call him Michael, call him Mike.
Yeah, so yesterday, a little more on this story with Wriggles, is basically the brackets had to be kind of hand done.
Right.
Because there was the program put zeros in for like a bunch of people's scores, even though there were correct scores entered in. Just couldn't get around the bug of the program, so Wriggles was saying, "Oh, this is ridiculous." I kept hearing him chirping about 2 pairs away from the booth while we were trying to type in the scores up here in the booth, helping the tournament team out here out of the kindness of our heart. And it was just kind of a distraction to me listening to him, say this. And finally, I just stopped right in the middle of what we were doing, and I said, "Jeff, I'll take 50 on the under." He goes, "Oh, you going to call 545 a victory?" And basically, we just we're just arguing to argue because we were both frustrated. Like, he was frustrated that he wasn't throwing a bowling ball yet, and I was frustrated that I was having to do tournament work and get you involved, Doug, and we were up here having to do a spreadsheet while, like, 15 people kept looking over our shoulder to see if their name got any more 25s, 10s, 50s, or 20s put next to it.
You want to talk about mental game. We had to block out. Everybody's frustrated. Everybody's ready to go. And we're sitting here at the booth entering this stuff, and we have the vultures just flying around over our heads.
And then people saying, "Hey, you mind adding a couple more on there for me? You want to mind adding 50 or 100 on there for me?" It's like, what are you talking about? So, and we're not in like a closed environment. If we could have pressed a button and put a big walls up around the booth, I would have at that point in time.
And they were watching for validity and accuracy on our part.
Yeah.
And you just had to, for those of you who've seen The Love of the Game with Kevin Costner when he says control the mechanism, that's what we had to do for about an hour. We couldn't. Yeah. We couldn't even.
It was
slip
intense.
up.
It was an intense Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. 20 minutes. And then the other thing was what we were doing is because of the work that you and I did, we were actually working faster than the tournament office because the tournament office was getting everybody walking up saying, "Are you going to be running brackets the next set?"
Yeah.
And they kept getting interrupted. So we went through like 3/4 of the stack, which actually got the play started about 35 to 40 minutes sooner.
Can you believe that?
If we wouldn't have gotten involved.
Can you believe that?
And we weren't asked to get involved. I went down and said, "What can we do to help?"
Right.
We're down here in the booth doing this, and then we hear the chirping. So, but I love Jeff. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Jeff Wriggles, we did his website.
Right.
I love Jeff. But that's what it was all about. It's just kind of funny little nuances that happen throughout a tournament. But we do have standings through game number 10. They've been up for a little while here. Let's go ahead and run down these. Solid 9 Pro Shop sits up top. 13,889, which is 260 still ahead of Team Barris now, who just moved 3 pins ahead of Team Wolf. So it's tight right there. 125 pins behind Team Wolf is Joe Hu. Joe Hu is tied for the most bonus pins now, along with Solid 9 Pro Shop. They both have 350 bonus pins. Team Barris sits second with only 100 bonus pins. Pretty amazing. Unlucky, you might say. So, that's your updated standings. Scrolling across your ticker at the top.
I don't see it.
Well, there they come.
Game number 11. 19 and 20, Derek O. 178 in the 7th with a strike up. They got 268 left. They're cruising along. Bowling against Barra's team. They're only in the 6th frame, working on a spare here. So it looks like Team Tommy Jones is probably going to get the first game over there. There's Fagan again. They got 256 left. They're clearly going to get the win over Weber's team. Weber's team with Rokita throwing at the spare only has 2-0 left as the King of Swing gets the first hit in the 10th. He and Tommy Jones both have a really good look.
I think they're just drawing straws to see who bowls 5th right now.
Who, Fagan and Jones?
Yeah.
Well, they're on separate teams.
I mean, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm thinking Mike Wolf.
Yeah, they look the same. They almost do. I mean, from our vantage point, they look the same. But right here, Norm Duke and Chris Warren would look the same from our vantage point because we got monitors and everything else around us.
Right.
Baldridge crosses over. They're struggling there, bowling against huge midgets. George Branham, spare, triple, spare. Branham up now. InsideBowling.com continues to struggle. 87 in the 5th with a spare. Now Dole crosses over. Leaves 2 pin. But they're in a tight match over there with Turbo Tech. It's anybody's ball game there. We'll get you updated on Turbo 2-1 on the end. Bowling against Shepard's team. We'll get you that in a minute. Back over to Fagan. That's the second hit in the 10th. They've got 256 left. Now Lacaz with a baby split. They're only going to have 190 left. 191 to be exact. Tommy Jones has already solidified the first hit in the 10th. Working on 268. They're trying to make a move to get up to Pete's team. With Pete's team here possibly being able to shoot 170 or 180 depending on what Lacaz does here. And a 260 game for Jones. They could make up 100 pins in one game, and Lacaz does miss the baby split. So here we go, Doug. It's starting to, tides are starting to turn, and look at Tommy Jones's look. He has just got one of those sick Tommy Jones looks now.
He does.
Is lined up. He hasn't missed in about 3 games. Or I'm sorry, 3 sets.
Right.
And if you remember earlier, Pete Weber, when he bowled on lane 20, actually went light, tripped out to 2-8 late. So to see Jones come in light and still be able to knock them all down is a huge advantage for him. Pete's still striking, though. Pete can save 180 for his team, which is still important. And now there's Tommy Jones again, another strike, 268. For TFJ. And Barra's team is just in the 9th frame here with 2-0 left. It's 255 for Mike Fagan's team. Pete leaves the 4-pin. They're going to be in the 170s. 170 to be exact. Okay, so we could have a huge swing here. The tide could turn a little bit here if some way, somehow, Tommy Jones' team could sweep, win both matches, get 100 bonus pins, plus this 260 game and post another big score. Seeing Weber's team shoot 170. If they struggle again this game, we could have double-digit separation between first and second.
Right.
Right now it's 260 pins. 90 have already been made up in one game with the possibility for a sweep by Tommy Jones' team. And as I said, Tommy Jones has got the sickest look in the building right now.
That he does.
So let's hone in on these two pairs for now. This is leaderboard action. We'll keep you up to speed on what's happening on our bay over here to the left. Sure, Barris and Moss and those guys do not want Tommy Jones and them to get the sweep. You know, Rick Coy, we haven't talked about him very much, but he's actually been nice and steady.
Yeah, he is. Keeping the ball in play, throwing some strikes, not getting in big trouble, just, you know, covering spares. Just about everything and more that you want out of a two-hole there on a big team event.
Got some fans here in the chat saying, let's go Team Wolf. Rooting for Mike Wolf's team.
Boy, they've been quiet this whole time, just hanging around. It's a three-bagger for a solid 9 there. Another good shot by Camden.
Now here's Timmy B. Tim Barron. It's Barron the first for Drews, and now Barron up 2-hole. Tim back for Timmy B. Tim's gotten it going today. He's bowling much better today, much more relaxed, and doing real well in Baker. And communicating with Derek Hof right now, talking about what he got from the read on that lane. And Hof's going to take that information and go up and try to throw a double. Here's Lacaze, bidding for 4 in a row.
Yeah. I have a feeling they're going to shoot a big game.
Yeah, especially with knowing somebody's knocking on their door. It's almost like they just dove into the lake and some fish just came up and started nibbling on their toes.
So they said, we better swim back to the dock.
They're going to get in their paddle boat, and they're going to paddle themselves back to the shore. Because they have the first 4, I'm sure if Pete goes up and gets the 5th one here, you're going to see a lot of emotion out of him.
What are the odds Pete gets to strike right now? He's fired up. When he has a 4-bagger running into his spot, he just eats it up.
Yeah, and over on 19 and 20, like I said, 100 bonus pins if Tommy Jones' team can get a win here.
Pete didn't like something that he saw. He took a half step and said, I'm going to start over. I'm telling you. He wants this one right here.
I believe it was a double jump to the pair to the right, but I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But something happened we couldn't see from here. So that's a big triple now. Jesse Boss now with Tommy Jones, Red Hot Tommy Jones.
He's got a great ball reaction too.
Here's Pete. Oh, look at that. Pete gets away with one. If he would have flushed it and made a really great shot there, you'd seen even more emotion out of Pete. He'll take the break.
He came around the side of that one and just a little left of target, but I think this is a good pair. I think there's a defined hook spot with some push and hold in the middle of the lane. So, like I said, I look for some pretty high scores, higher scores, at least from 17.
Sand goes high there, and here's TJ. He hasn't gotten less than 10 in about an hour and a half.
He said, where was this at yesterday for brackets?
Kistner now crosses over. Kistner really has struggled. Super nice guy, but this tournament he has just really, really struggled.
Anthony Lacaze is like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll take that. I think the whole team kind of knows that they've been holding Corey up a little bit, but I think they'd rather bowl with Corey than anybody else in the building just because of the teammate he's been, and
right.
They love him.
Does the whole team get socks?
Yeah. Corey just came up after that Brooklyn and says the whole team gets socks. I threw 2 strikes this game.
I'll just start firing them from the booth up here at them, all 5 of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what we'll do. If they do it, you and I will stand up and just throw it. We'll grab 5 pair at one time and throw it down there and make it rain on them.
Hopefully it doesn't hit anybody or distract anybody, but maybe we get Brian to get that on the iPad.
Yeah. Chad Roberts is here now.
My new friend on Facebook.
Aaron Rodgers lookalike we found out this weekend.
Discount double check.
Last night he was sleeping during the roll-off.
I had a dream that he called me today and said, Doug, we want to add you to the Brunswick team.
Rick Coy, 7 in a row. Solid 9 Pro Shop says, take that Tommy Jones team.
This is the coolest the building's been all day. Or all weekend.
What's up?
Wachner makes a really, really good point here. Wachner says, where's the "that's lucky" comments from his supporters in the back?
Right. If Camden gets a hit right here, it'd be the loudest the building's been all weekend. He's got at least 15 people here just for him. Obviously, they're rooting on his whole team, but he's from this area, and he's got a huge support crew.
So we're staying right here. It's the front 7 for Solid 9 Pro Shop. Chris Hester now triple for Team Wolf. And actually, Doug, I've been painting this picture of how it's going to get so close to the top of the leaderboard. And I've been thinking that Tommy Jones's team is in second place when it's really Wolf's team is in second place.
Right, because they look alike.
Yeah, they really do. From here. There's Rokita. First 8. Solid 9 Pro Shops. So let's paint our picture here. Actually, it's 1 versus 2 here is what we're staring at. And Team Wolf
We got a little.
Actually beating Weber's team is now Weber's team has reacted to not give up the 100 bonus spins, which is still a great story. Wish we would have covered that correctly. It's my bad. And
we have a sweep on 18. Sweep on 18.
however, Tommy Jones' team sitting at 13,631.
Lacaz up in the ninth. He likes it. Not a problem. That's Chris Sand chiming in on the rules of the sock giveaway promotion. We'll gladly trade you 5 pairs of socks for a Storm bowling ball. Chris, a regional representative for Storm Bowling Products, correct?
Yeah, he's a regional sales manager, I believe. We've got some standing issues, I think, here. Unless they've got them entered in after game 11 already. Maybe they do. 14,059. Yeah, they do. They have it updated now through game 11 up top on the ticker. I didn't realize they were updating that quickly. Very good. Very good work. I thought after every 2 we were getting an update. So there you have it, improving our skills and technology even more and more.
My win, place, or show statement for Team Barris is coming in question. They're in 3rd place currently.
Chris Sand now 5 in a row for his team. They got 2:45 left, still a good score. Here's Tommy Jones. Once again, like we said, he hasn't not struck in over an hour and a half. And that was perfect jinx right there for Tommy to leave a 10-pin.
Yep.
He's not happy about not carrying either.
Pete up in the 10th.
Pete got bothered by something there.
Somebody.
It might have been Tommy Jones pushing the balls around a little bit over on the ball return. I'd like to know, we'd like to get Pete up here and find out what bothered him those 2 times during that match.
Yeah, if he let him strike out.
Yeah, and see if he'll come
see if
over
he'll
here
humor
and talk
us
to
one more time.
But Jones's team looks like they are going to get the sweep over there, so they're going to get 100 bonus. They got 236 left over there, so they're going to shoot 500 plus a 100 bonus. That's like shooting 600. Oh, and then TJ just misses the 10. Just flags it for 224. Here's Fagan. Remember Pete and Fagan, U.S. Open, not too long ago? These two going at it.
Yeah.
Back at it again. It's funny how bowling comes full circle. Pete's got 279 left for his team in the driver's seat. Fagan just keeps striking. Struck in the 5th, now first one to 10th, 255, and they're going to lose. Pete got that one a little wide.